Hey everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive. Ever get that feeling like you're supposed to be connected constantly? Like just putting on pants and leaving the house is, I don't know, like the bare minimum for being a human these days.
It's like the moment you're not scrolling, you're basically off the grid.
Right. But today we're going deep on something a little different. We're going to unpack this unexpected power of, well, being alone.
Mm.
And don't worry, we're basing all of this on your awesome research and notes. So get ready to see those empty Saturday afternoons in a whole new light.
Always happy to dive into a little solitude. It seems like it's become a bit of a lost art, you know?
Totally. And to help us navigate this whole thing, I've got our expert in, well, pretty much everything right here with me.
You make me sound way too fancy, but I'm always up for a good brain-bending conversation. And the research on solitude is fascinating. It's not just about peace and quiet. It actually seems crucial for our mental well-being these days.
Okay, now that has my attention. But before we get all Zen master on this, let's just address, well, the elephant in the room, or maybe in this case, the empty chair, right? Cause your notes immediately point out this difference between loneliness and solitude.
Ah, yes. Two words that get thrown around interchangeably, but they're actually worlds apart.
Help me out here. What's the distinction?
All right, imagine this. Loneliness is being stuck in a waiting room with nothing but that awful elevator music. You know the one. It's imposed on you, it's uncomfortable, you do anything to escape.
Okay, yeah, definitely not my ideal way to spend an afternoon.
Right. But solitude, that's like scoring that reservation at the super exclusive restaurant, the one you've been dying to try. It's deliberate, it's something you seek out because you know it'll be, well, kind of amazing.
So it's not just about being physically alone, it's more about the why behind it.
Exactly. It's that active choice to spend time with yourself on your own terms, and that's where things get interesting. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, speaking of magic, tell me about these so-called mental benefits. Because honestly, sometimes just thinking about being alone kind of stresses me out. Is that like normal?
Oh, it's totally understandable.
Huh.
Our brains are hardwired for connection. It's how we survived for, like, ever. But here's the thing. Our world now is like this buffet of connection, right?
Right.
We're bombarded constantly, social interaction, information overload. It's exhausting.
Oh, tell me about it. Sometimes even just scrolling through Instagram feels like a chore.
Exactly. And that's where solitude comes in. It's like hitting the reset button on your whole system.
Hmm.
Research shows that even short periods of disconnecting on purpose can really reduce stress, help you handle emotions better, even make you more self-aware. It's wild.
So it's not that connection is bad, it's more that we need a balance. Like, our brains are stuck in fight or flight, and solitude is the rest and digest they're craving.
That's a great way to put it. You got to give your brain a break from constantly processing the outside world so it can finally relax, recharge, do what it does best on the inside.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here. But let's be real, there's still a part of us that resists solitude, you know? Like, I know I'm supposed to be all zen and introspective, but sometimes I just want to binge watch bad reality TV. Why is it so hard to embrace being alone, even when we know it's good for us?
Well, part of it's got to be just like centuries of social conditioning. Think about it, for most of history, being alone meant danger, right? Like you only wandered off from the group if you were hunting for food or about to become food.
So this deep-seated fear of being alone is like in our DNA or something? No wonder it feels so weird sometimes.
Exactly. And if that wasn't enough, we've got this little thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, whispering in our ear 24/7.
Oh, don't even get me started on FOMO.
And let's be real, social media has weaponized that, haven't they?
It really is the worst, isn't it? Like, even when we are alone, we're still stuck comparing ourselves to everyone else's, highlight reel.
Oh, it's brutal out there.
Yeah.
And it's not an accident, you know. These platforms are literally designed to keep us hooked.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just me, it's actually addictive.
Oh, 100%. They tap into that very human need for connection, validation, all that good stuff. But they also use our fear of missing out against us, you know?
Yeah.
Every notification, every perfectly filtered photo, it's all reinforcing this idea that we have to be plugged in 24/7 to be happy.
It's like this constant pressure to keep up, and if you step off the hamster wheel, even for a second...
You're suddenly irrelevant, right? But here's a thought. What if I told you some of the most fulfilling, most creative stuff happens when we actually disconnect from that digital noise? When we tune into, well, ourselves.
Okay, now that is a concept I can get behind. You know I'm all about a good unplug and recharge moment. But how does that connect back to this whole solitude thing?
All right, so this is where things get really cool. Your notes have mentioned the default mode network. It's this network in our brains that activates when we're not focused on some specific task. Like the behind-the-scenes crew in our minds, making sense of stuff, consolidating memories, coming up with new ideas.
Default mode network. It does sound kind of familiar.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a buzzword in neuroscience lately. Basically, when we're constantly bombarded, scrolling, texting, whatever our brains are in go mode, right? Processing, reacting. But when we let ourselves unplug, that's when this default mode network really gets to work.
So it's like our brains need that downtime to actually process everything they've taken in, like, I don't know, how a computer needs to defrag its hard drive or something.
Perfect analogy. And here's the kicker. Research shows this default mode network is highly active during moments of solitude. When we're alone with our thoughts, our brains can wander, make connections, have those aha moments that lead to creative breakthroughs.
You know, it's funny you say that. Some of my best ideas come to me when I'm just going for a walk or taking a long shower. Like my brain finally has space to breathe and make connections it couldn't before.
It's not a coincidence. There are countless stories of artists, writers, entrepreneurs, whoever, all crediting solitude for their biggest inspirations. Remember that note you had about Isaac Newton?
Yeah, the apple tree, right.
Exactly. It's like the universe was waiting for him to just disconnect so it could finally whisper its secrets.
That's amazing. So instead of being afraid of our own thoughts, we should actually be like leaning in.
100%. Solitude isn't about running away from the world. It's about connecting more deeply with yourself, with that creativity within.
Love that. But it's one thing to like understand it, right? Putting it into practice is a whole other story. You mentioned this idea of dating yourself, which I'm intrigued by.
I'm a big fan myself.
But I'm not going to lie, it also conjures up images of me eating microwave dinners by candlelight, which
Maybe not the most inspiring vision.
right. So help me out. What does a healthy relationship with solitude actually look like? So we're back, and we're still trying to wrap our heads around this whole dating yourself thing. Sounds great in theory, but I'm not going to lie, it still feels a little abstract. Like, what do we actually do?
Well, think of it like any other relationship in your life, right? How much energy do we pour into the people we care about? We make time for them, we listen. Dating yourself is basically taking all that same care and attention and directing it inwards.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. But, like, how do you even start? It's not like you can swipe right on yourself, you know?
Well, you could try, but it probably won't get you very far. Honestly, it starts simple. What brings you joy? What makes you feel like, I don't know, the best version of yourself? Could be reading, hiking, maybe finally trying that pottery class you've been thinking about.
So being intentional about making time for that stuff, even if it's just a few minutes a day.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip from a pro-solitude advocate: schedule it in. Seriously, put it in your calendar like any other important appointment.
Because if it's not on the schedule, it's not real, right?
Sadly, that's how it works for most of us. And don't be afraid to think outside the box here. Forget those basic self-care tropes. Treat yourself to a solo movie date. Book a massage. Take that weekend trip you keep putting off.
Okay, now that sounds amazing. See, you're making me excited about this whole solitude thing.
It's life-changing when you actually lean into it. And remember, this isn't about becoming a hermit, okay? It's about finding that balance that works for you.
Finding the sweet spot between connection and, well, you time.
Exactly. Even small moments can make a difference. What do you usually do during your commute, for example?
Oh, you know, the usual. Scroll through my phone, answer some emails, maybe get in a few rounds of Candy Crush if I'm feeling spicy. Why, what about you?
Honestly, sometimes I just look out the window, let my mind wander, or listen to a podcast. Just a chance to unplug and be present.
It's funny you say that because I'm realizing how much time I spend just like mindlessly scrolling, like my brain's on autopilot.
And what if, instead of dreading those times when you're forced to be alone, like waiting in line or whatever, you thought of them as mini retreats?
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Instead of getting all impatient, use that time to be mindful. Listen to music, enjoy the scenery.
Exactly. Shifting your perspective. Those in-between moments aren't wasted time. They're opportunities.
This has been seriously eye-opening. I feel like I have permission now to like prioritize myself in a way I never have before.
And remember, embracing solitude isn't selfish. It's the opposite. It's self-care. When you take time to recharge, connect with yourselves, you show up better everywhere else in your life.
So true. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into the power of being alone, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
Don't be afraid of solitude. It's not something to be avoided. Honestly, it's a gift. It's where you find your strength, your creativity, your truest self. So next time you get a quiet moment, resist that urge to reach for your phone. Embrace the stillness. Embrace being alone. You might be surprised what you discover.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this exploration of being alone. And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep discovering, and remember, sometimes the most fulfilling journeys are the ones we take within. Until next time.